In Chicago, flags a-wave, they sounded their battle cry, Americanism and preparedness. Senator Warren Harding was chairman. Representing the old guard was Chauncey Depew. The rains came, but that didn't keep away the inevitable suffragettes, picketing for a Votes for Women plank in the GOP platform. The Republicans nominated dignified, impressive Charles Evans Hughes, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Hughes began a vigorous campaign, advocating a firmer stand in our foreign relations. Here's a typical campaign portrait with wife and daughters. He was destined to go to bed believing himself president and to wake up a defeated candidate. Theodore Roosevelt was nominated again by his progressive Bull Moose party, but the old Rough Rider declined, swung his support to Hughes, and set off on a rip-snorting speech-making tour. Two heroines of the Mexican border raids presented him with flowers at Albuquerque. "Bully," cried Teddy, with typically hearty Roosevelt enthusiasm. Later, using a bit of gentle pull, he demonstrated how to shake hands and keep the line moving. So the Republican Party, once split by Roosevelt's bolt, was healed once more, while Teddy, in the coat he wore at San Juan Hill, displayed the fire of old. The Democrats met in St. Louis. Their cry was peace with honor, for Europe's war had become a national issue. Tammany leader Murphy posed with young and rising Alfred E. Smith. There was little doubt that President Woodrow Wilson would again be the Democratic candidate. At Shadow Lawn, his summer White House near Asbury Park, New Jersey, President Wilson learned that he had been renominated by 1,092 votes to 1. In this scene from history, Senator Ollie James, an orator of the old school, makes the official notification. His party hailed Wilson as the man who had kept America out of the European war. On election night, the presidency had already been conceded to Hughes when California swung to the Democrats, and Woodrow Wilson was re-elected President of the United States. For William Jennings Bryan, a brilliant career was drawing to a close. With brother Charles, he campaigned for Wilson. Later, resigning as Wilson's Secretary of State, the silver-tongued orator, 3 times defeated for the presidency, settled down to do some fishing. For Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a brilliant career was just beginning. The young and handsome FDR made a dashing Assistant Secretary of the Navy during Wilson's administration. Rediscovered after 4 decades is this rare and striking portrait of the only man to be elected to 4 terms as president. In New York, a shining tabernacle rose to house the jam-packed revival meetings of an ex-baseball player turned evangelist named Billy Sunday. Billy would warm up slowly. Then, with emotions of a fireball pitcher, he would thunder into his attacks on sin, speed, booze, bridge whist, low-cut gowns, and the Kaiser. The music of March King John Philip Sousa, best known of band leaders, was more popular than ever, for as Europe's war drew closer, a martial spirit grew in the land. Opera star Anna Case joined Sousa in a concert which made spirits rise. Sir Harry Lauder, Scotland's beloved comedian, made one of his frequent visits. Highest paid of performers in vaudeville's golden age, Sir Harry mixed his stage appearances with fervent appeals for aid for the embattled lives. The legendary Sarah Bernhardt toured America in the twilight of her acting career. Her ringing speeches about La Belle France's fight against the Hun won the hearts of all who heard. The tumultuous welcome received by the French mission under Marshal Joffre as it toured city after city showed that America's sympathies were now with the Allies. Joffre, hero of the Marne, was almost drowned in a sea of waving flags. It was becoming increasingly hard to remember that Europe's war had once seemed none of our business. The nation's attention centered on Washington, while relations between the United States and Germany gradually worsened. In the shadow of the Capitol dome, crowds gathered in mounting excitement as event after event forged the chain that was to eventually draw America into the conflict. In the avalanche of visitors was automotive genius Henry Ford, who planned a peace ship to stop the war. With Navy Secretary Josephus Daniels, he discussed his designs for a gasoline-driven submarine. The pleas for preparedness led to a Naval Advisory Board containing such inventors as Thomas Edison, left, and Hudson Maxim, right, developer of smokeless gunpowder. Arguments were bitter between those who wanted peace and those who demanded war. A leading pacifist was Jeanette Rankin, famed suffragette and first woman to be elected to Congress. Advocates of peace storming the Capitol were held in check by police. The men reminded President Wilson of his campaign promises to keep us out of war. The women's cry was, "I didn't raise my boy to be a soldier." In 1916, the merchant submarine Deutschland arrived in Baltimore